Well, all right, welcome back for another beer tasting. I'm Kevin with CrafTeeBeer, and today we're going to be tasting an Imperial Porter. Wait, no, we're going to be trying 2 Imperial Porters. Both of the porters we're going to try today are from Ballast Point in San Diego, California. We've got the Victory at Sea Imperial Porter, the Peanut Butter Imperial Porter. And we've got the Ballast Point High West Barrel Aged Victory at Sea Imperial Porter. So stick around, we've got back-to-back beer tastings today. Ballast Point Victory at Sea ×2. The first porter we're going to try today is the Victory at Sea Peanut Butter Imperial Porter from, again, Ballast Point Brewing in San Diego, California. Ballast Point was started in 1996 by Jack White. I've talked about them before. He started a home brewing supply store, Homebrew Mart, started a small brewery in the back and grew from there, went to a full-size production facility. You know the story. Constellation Group bought the Ballast Point Brewing for $1 billion, I think, in 2015.
Hi, my name is Jack White. I am the founder and CEO of Ballast Point Brewing Company and Homebrew Mart. I'm here with my Director of Brewing, James Murray. This is our Victory at Sea. It's got a huge amount of coffee in it. The coffee will definitely wake you up, but the 10% alcohol might kind of neutralize that.
The Peanut Butter Victory at Sea says it's an Imperial Porter with coffee and natural flavorings. So let's go check out the Ballast Point website and see what they say about this one. Peanut Butter Victory at Sea Imperial Porter. Smooth peanut butter meets dark coffee in this roasty porter. Our Ballast Point Peanut Butter Victory at Sea is a nutty version of our popular Imperial Porter. We took our trademark robust porter brewed with Cafe Calabre coffee and vanilla and added peanut butter, adding another level to this roasty, flavorful beer. And I think Cafe Calabre is a coffee roaster. They might be in San Diego as well. So they must have supplied the coffee for the porters. It's a 10% ABV, 65 IBU, limited availability. All right, so coffee Imperial Porter with peanut butter. No peanut allergies here, I hope. So the Victory at Sea, there's the skeleton steering the ship on the label. All right. Two porters to try today. No wasting time. Let's get this Peanut Butter Victory at Sea out of the bottle and into a glass and see what we have for today's beer tasting. Typical dark porter, like one finger of a tan head. Can hear the carbonation rushing out of this. Yeah, completely dark. Can't see through it. Looks like a porter. Damn good looking beer.
He just says that one thing.
Little sweetness, little malt sweetness, some coffee, some roasty, some chocolate, maybe some vanilla, and maybe hints of peanut butter, or that might be just my imagination because it is supposed to be in there. All right. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Definitely a coffee, really roasty bitterness, a little bit of chocolate, maybe like a molasses brown sugar taste. It's got quite a bit of bitter to it, so there's like some really roasted coffee bitterness to it. The bitterness, a little bit of harshness, it sticks around and on the back end. It definitely leaves some road rash behind. Maybe a little bit of black licorice, but chocolate, coffee, roasty coffee. I don't think I get any peanut butter. 10.5% ABV. Maybe that back end bitter is assisted by maybe a little bit of alcohol. But there's definitely an after story to this that leaves a little a little note behind to tell you it's been there. And as I mentioned, Ballast Point was bought by Constellation Group in 2015. Constellation Group, I think, is the importer of Corona and Modelo, and I believe they also own Funky Buddha, the brewery in Florida. And the original, some of the original founders like Jack White and Yusuf Cherney, who was the original brewer, they stayed with the company shortly after Ballast Point was sold, and then they ended up leaving shortly after. I think the story is that Jack and Yusuf stayed with Ballast Point after it was sold, although they had started a spirit distillery company as well. And I think the plan was that it was not part of the sale, and they were going to be allowed to run the distillery for a while and eventually take some time to move that out of the Constellation Group's, Ballast Point brewing facility. And apparently something didn't work out, and they left sooner than expected. So I think Jack and Yusuf ended up leaving within a year of the Ballast Point being sold. The base flavor is really good on this. It's that coffee, chocolate, milk, maybe brown sugar, molasses kind of thing, touch of licorice maybe. I'm not really getting the peanut butter, but maybe it's mixed in there lightly on the edges, and it's got that definite little bit of bitter, maybe bitter with a little alcohol on the back end that stays around behind, and which really gives it a good story, a really complex, start to finish story. So the distillery, the company that Jack and Yusuf started, is called Cutwater, and they're a distillery, and I guess they're known for having canned spirits, or they're one of the bigger distributors of canned spirits. So taking a quick jump over to Beer Advocate, the Ballast Point Peanut Butter Victory at Sea Porter has a 3.96 rating. It's an American Imperial Porter, 10.5% ABV. Well, I guess it's time to stop over on Untappd and check this in. Peanut Butter Victory at Sea Porter on Untappd has a 3.9 cap rating with 35,000 ratings. All right, let's check it in. I gave this porter a 4.25 cap rating. I described it as coffee, chocolate milk, roasty back end that leaves a little bitter behind. Hints of brown sugar, molasses. The back end may have some alcohol too. The flavor profile of coffee, chocolate, and roasty. That pretty much sums up this beer tasting. One porter down, one to go. All right, Ballast Point Brewing Company Peanut Butter Victory at Sea Imperial Porter. Time for porter number 2. Ballast Point Victory at Sea. This is the High West Barrel Aged Victory at Sea Imperial Porter with coffee and vanilla flavors, aged in High West bourbon and rye barrels. High West, I believe, is a distillery in Utah. So this is the second porter we're going to try today from Ballast Point. I believe it's a 12% ABV porter. Again, the label has the skeleton steering the ship. Let's go see what they say about this on their website. High West Barrel Aged Victory at Sea. Imperial Porter with coffee and vanilla flavors, aged in High West bourbon and rye barrels. We partnered with our friends at High West Distillery to create a barrel-aged version of our Ballast Point Victory at Sea, our award-winning Imperial Porter with cold steeped coffee and vanilla, from a blend of Ballast Point Victory at Sea, aged in High West's own bourbon and rye whiskey oak casks. New layers of complexity emerge with notes of soft caramel and smoky oak over a dark chocolate and roasted almond body. High West crafts delicious and distinctive whiskeys to honor the American West, making it the perfect pairing with our signature San Diego-born porter. Coffee vanilla porter, but we're going to add some barrel aging, so maybe some whiskey and rye flavors mixed in there. All right, Ballast Point High West barrel-aged porter. Let's get it out of the bottle and into the glass. Another beer with good carbonation, all those small bubbles racing up, and I can hear it. The finger of tan head, I mean, it looks just like a porter, just like the last one. This head seems to be a little foamier and creamier and seems to be sticking around a little more with some lacing, so maybe a little bit higher alcohol in this one. Completely dark. Another damn good looking porter.
Stop saying that!
So let's see what this one smells like. Yeah, it smells a little similar to the last one as far as coffee and chocolate, but this definitely has another flavor, maybe like a fruity flavor. So maybe it's like the rye or the bourbon or something like that's lending its notes to the nose, and a bunch of vanilla. So it's coffee, chocolate, lots of vanilla, and then something that jumped out to me originally as like fruit, but maybe a rye bourbon smell to it. But definitely the nose is a little more complex than the last one. All right, barrel-aged porter. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Yeah, quite a bit of vanilla on this. The vanilla is prominent more than like a coffee chocolate flavor is, and there's it doesn't have the same bitter roasty flavor that the last porter had. There's a sweetness on the outside edges. I don't know if it's the malt sweetness, but there's a little bit of sweetness going on. It doesn't have the bitterness, so it's a little bit, I don't know if I'd say, I guess it's easier to drink than the last porter. Or not, you don't have to sip it as slow as the last one, even though this is a higher ABV. There's hints of like a whiskey bourbon coming through. So it's vanilla, but it gets penetrated by this bourbon flavor that comes through the vanilla. So I'm thinking like a vanilla flavored coffee with a good shot of like bourbon or whiskey in it. This is definitely more complex than the peanut butter porter, but I like this one more. I'm definitely enjoying this one more. So the other one had that roasty back end with a little bit of bitterness, which was interesting at first, but as you drank more and more of it, it got harder and harder to work through the beer, where this one doesn't have that. This one's a little more complex, a little bit sweeter. Over on Beer Advocate, this barrel-aged version of the Victory at Sea has a 4.3 rating out of 5. So it's got a higher rating than the last one, and I agree with that. This is a really enjoyable beer. 12% ABV. It doesn't have that much of a boozy characteristic to it. I mean, you definitely get the flavors of that oak, which was bourbon or rye or whiskey, whatever whatever flavor that is. It's that distilled spirit flavor that's coming through. And like I said, you get a good dose of vanilla, and then that kind of works through that or permeates that vanilla and then shows up, which is a really good complex flavor story. And it's fairly light bodied for a porter, so it's light, well carbonated. All right, let's go check this in on Untapped. The High West Barrel Aged Victory at Sea on Untapped has a 4.26 cap rating, 6,696 ratings. So they rate this one pretty high on there. I'm really enjoying this one. I think head to head between the peanut butter porter and this barrel aged porter from Ballast Point, this one's definitely the winner. It's more enjoyable. That distilled spirits, oak, maybe it's like oak and whiskey, oak and bourbon flavors that come through on top of that nice vanilla sweetness, I think just is really enjoyable. In the distillery, that High West that supplied the bourbon and rye barrels in Utah, their website is highwest.com. Apparently they've got a whole host of spirits. Their core products are the American Prairie Bourbon, High West Double Rye, Rendezvous Rye, and Campfire Whiskey. Hadn't heard of them before. After having this, I might have to see if I can find a way to get some of their stuff, try one of their bourbons or their Campfire Whiskey. Sounds interesting. I checked this in on Untapped, 4.75 cap rating. Really enjoying this one. Described it as really enjoyable. Coffee and vanilla with some bourbon or whiskey flavors seeping in. It's smooth for a 12% ABV porter. Flavor profile of chocolate, coffee, whiskey, and vanilla. Another one checked in. So 2 porters from Ballast Point. This one's definitely the hands down winner for me. If you've had either one of these, leave me some comments. Which one did you like? This one's really, really well done. Okay, a 12% porter, so I'm going to work on this slowly and finish this out. But I guess that wraps this up. 2 porters from Ballast Point, the Peanut Butter Imperial Porter and the High West Barrel Aged. Both decent porters. Didn't get much peanut butter from the peanut butter porter. Got a lot of coffee, chocolate, and a roasty, bitter back end. The barrel aged was lots more vanilla, a little bit of coffee, but definitely a bourbon or a whiskey flavor with some oak, no bitter back end. A little bit of maybe a little bit of that boozy flavor mixed in there too, but really, really well done. Very enjoyable. The High West Barrel Aged definitely is the better of the two in my opinion, or I should say the one I enjoyed better out of the two. All right, if you want to find me on Untapped, CrafTeeBeer, social media, nonsense below, subscribe, hit the notification button, do all that nonsense. Until the next beer tasting, I'm Kevin with CrafTeeBeer. Cheers.